Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Good. Okay, thank you. Right. That's always the way. It comes up in the middle of the show. There, let's go there. Okay, so here we are at the funding fair today. So Groundwork UK administer a number of funding programmes across the UK. As an organisation, we're a federation of trusts working nationally and locally to transform lives in the UK's most disadvantaged communities under the Groundwork banner. Locally, we're Groundwork Northamptonshire. We're an independent charity and, as I said, part of the federation. And our office is based in Kettering. Groundwork Northamptonshire's focus on promoting the Tesco and Comic Relief funding programmes across Northamptonshire and support groups to apply. The administration is undertaken by Groundwork UK at their head office in Birmingham. Tesco also, the full range of grants they administer include the community grants, HS2, One Stop Community Partnership Programme and Comic Relief. I will touch on all of them, but the focus will be on Tesco community grants and Comic Relief. So the Community Grants Programme funds thousands of local projects right across the UK. Projects that bring benefit to the community will get the green light. These range from improving community buildings and outdoor spaces to buying new equipment, training coaches or volunteers and hosting community events. In fact, it's a very broad brush, broad range of funds, of programmes that can be funded through Tesco's community grants. It all began in 2017 when Tesco's, like others, replaced single-use carrier bags with new bags for life made from recyclable plastic, well, mainly, to reduce bag use. And the funds from that was put into the Tesco Bags of Help programme. In May 2021, the Tesco Bags of Help programme was relaunched as Tesco Community Grants after the pandemic. So what is the community grant programme? Well, it's open for applications all year round, and grants of up to £1,500 are available in each quarter period. When it began, all of us were, well, if you were like me, you'd go shopping and you'd forget to take your bags. So you'd end up buying multiple times. And all those 5p's went into the fund. So the fund was much larger when all this began. In fact, it was about 15,000,
details, can you?
12,000 and 10,000. Sorry, somebody's not muted there.
I had a quick look through these, but I couldn't see them.
Lisa and Katie at
So
WNC.
it's the same
NNC, I think
Yes,
you're
you pick one of
still
these.
got to silence yourselves, please.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Well,
Good, I hope so. No, still not. Hopefully they won't
So
interrupt
no,
us too
you
much.
can't.
The
Like,
host
If you
can
click invoice,
yeah.
the host
I think
can
I've
mute
looked there,
them.
but I couldn't see it. Because this is one that I'll have to email to
Jeanette,
get them to
can
change
you
it.
mute
I'm trying to
everybody?
find them. Hold
Are we
on.
assuming that the bank details would be the same then?
if you click in there and
Yeah.
go
Amend, if I check that one.
just,
See them on my
just to try and
list.
find the bank details, you could
Amend it and see if it's right.
yeah.
And mind you, that's a
Yes,
non-commercial. isn't it?
are you close to finding the mute all?
That's it. Got them. We're good.
Good, thank you. Okay, back to the excitement of Tesco Community Grants. Okay, anyway, so now, and it used to run every 2 months. Now it's every quarter, but Tesco's are still maintaining the programme. If you come first in the voting, you'll get £1,500, second 1,000, and third 500. So the good news is that if you're in the programme, you're in store to be voting, you will receive some funding. So it works across the UK, England, Wales and Scotland. So, and the broad ambition of the programme is that you must deliver community benefit. So applications in Northamptonshire, well, anywhere, need to be aligned to a local major Tesco store. We know that there are the big stores and also corner stores, so to speak. But in terms of the major stores, they're in Brackley, Corby, which has a strange geography because it includes Market Harborough and Oundle stretching across the north area. Daventry, Kettering, Northampton has two subsets, one around Mereway and one around Weston Favell, Towcester and Wellingborough. And Wellingborough includes Rushton, Raunds and Earthlingborough too. So what kinds of projects will we support? Very broad, as I said earlier. And they could range from purchasing items which will benefit local community groups, such as sports kit, specialised medical equipment, art and crafts material, spades for gardening, litter pickers, camping equipment for a youth group, or could be for an older group. You describe what the community benefit is for the equipment that you would want to purchase. Improvements to a building that benefits the local community, such as a scout or guide hut, church or village hall, changing facilities for sports, and they can contribute to those more significant budgets. When you cut the budget down, you can identify those elements that this fund might support. Could be developing an outdoor space, a play area, an allotment, a park, school grounds, woodland, or a wildlife area. Could be running a community event or activity such as fun runs, village fetes, clean-up days, tree planting, bird watching, also celebration. And this is unusual because, you know, not all funds will support a party, but this fund will. And, you know, supporting with COVID recovery. And of course, the calendar moves on, doesn't it? But it's there. So who can apply? Interestingly, practically anybody who has a not-for-profit organisation. So voluntary and community organisations, including registered charities and companies, schools, health bodies, clinical commissioning groups, or changes are going on there, but anybody who's involved in health services, hospital trusts, foundation trusts, parish and town councils and local authorities, social housing providers, community interest companies, community interest charities, any community socially minded group with supporting governance documents. So how do you apply? It's all online. And when you click into this link, you'll be first taken to an eligibility quiz. It's very simple. It's who you are. And basically, you just need to say the name of your organization and confirm that you've got a bank account in your organization's name. That ticks the eligibility quiz box, that you're a not-for-profit organization. And that would then result in you receiving a link to the application form. It opens a portal for you where your application form will be on the screen for you to click on. And it remains there until you're ready to submit it. But you can still see it. You've always got that as your portal there. You need to return back to the email that you were sent that original link in. Don't delete it. You keep that link and it takes you straight to your application form. And whilst you're drafting your application form, you can start it, save it, come back, leave, come back to it. And whilst it's in draft, you can email it to others. So if you're on a committee and you wanted to share it with some others, some colleagues, then you could do that. Equally, I'm here to support people to apply. So you can also share it with me and I'll give you comment on it to give you any words of support that I might be able to. On the website, there's also a frequently asked questions page as well. And again, if your organisation works across different Tesco areas, you can make up to 6 applications at the same time to different store areas. Yeah, you just need to amend each application so that it talks about delivering service to Towcester, to Corby, to Northampton, to Wellingborough, wherever it might be. So you don't have to do up to 6. I mean, you could do 2, you could do 1. So what makes a good application? Well, detail and clarity. And I suppose less is more. When you go into the website, you'll see, and the application process, you'll see that there's so many words are given in different sections. One of the important ones is that bit of the application that you put the words in that will go into the store. So at the top of, when you look at the voting booths in store, you'll see that the title is the name of the organisation, your organisational name, and then there's up to 150 characters to describe your project. And that's for you to market your project, to tell people what it is, why they should vote for you. And remember, when you're looking at that, it includes the spaces in those characters. So you need to, then below that, you get 300 words to sell your project, to tell the administrators of the programme what you're doing, why it's got community benefit. And then there's a budget. I always advise people that put in at least £1,500 budget. I'm always sad when I see somebody come first in the voting and they ask for £900 because they'll get £900 because they came first. They get what they wanted, but they could have had 1,500. And if you're struggling to work out how to spend £1,500 in your budget, do get in touch with me. I'm sure I can help you to boost the budget. It can exceed 1,500 because it could be contributing to a greater budget, but do try and make it at least 1,500. I always think it's a shame if you come first and you don't get all that money. And be passionate, be enthusiastic about what you're doing. So there's the website. The toolkit's in there. And I said earlier, I didn't mention, but once you've been successful and you've given your final report in, you can reapply. So there's no time limit in the sense of you have to wait a period to reapply. You just have to wait. The only barrier to reapplying is that you've completed the project and submitted your final report. Okay. Right, so just quickly, one-stop shop community partnership. Now, this is for organisations that are within 2 miles of a one-stop shop. And if you are successful in this, you'll receive an initial grant of up to £1,000, but it will take you into a partnership with your local one-stop shop to do subsequent fundraising. And their priorities are around tackling food poverty, supporting the vulnerable, supporting the elderly, supporting low-income families, and running youth sports teams. These are where we've got one-stop shops in Northamptonshire. So in Maudsley, in Daventry, in Weedon, Nether Hayford, Towcester, Corby, Northampton Blackthorn, Northampton Stanhope Road, Northampton Gladstone Road, Northampton St Crispin's, and in Rushden. The ones that have got a red star on have already, in partnership with local organisations who have already been successful in application, but the others have got space there. Oh, just let me. I forgot to mention the programme's going to reopen the end of 2022. So this programme's actually paused at the moment, but it will open towards the end of this year. So put a note in your diaries for October, November to check one-stop community partnerships. We will be publicising this around local infrastructure newsletters for you to see as well, but just to remind you of that. Okay, so HS2 funding. Government have got groundwork to help administer this programme. Very limited in its geography. You have to live within the scope of the actual line and will have direct disruption caused by construction, but there is funding there if you live over on the western side of the county. Okay, right. So, any questions on Tesco's?
Angie, can you unmute yourself?
Okay. we have, I thought a one-stop shop in Oundle. Is there not one here? We've got a small shop in Oundle, and they very kindly gave, we had a donation for a raffle prize from them, but.
Oh, well, forgive me if I missed them off on my search.
And then there's an express. Is there a difference between a one-stop and an express shop?
Is it a Tesco's Express?
Yeah.
Right, so Tesco's is part of Tesco's, and in Oundle, your big Tesco's is Corby. I know it sounds a bit odd, but that's just the geography of how it works. So the Tesco's Express does not have its own grant program, and it's not a one-stop shop. So it's a.
So we're going to link to Corby, as it said on the other present. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Indeed.
Donna, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hi, Sean. I have a couple of questions. So we're a UK-wide charity, but we're focusing at the moment in the Northamptonshire, that kind of area. If we were to apply for 6 different Tesco's, do they have to be within the Northamptonshire, or could we go over the border to, say, the Milton Keynes or Warwickshire?
You can apply to any stores. What it means is that it'll be a different local groundwork that will be supporting you. All of the applications go in centrally into Groundwork UK. It's probably worth having a conversation with me away from here, Donna, because I think I need to introduce you to the central administrators with regards to having a national scope and how and whether that 6 target limits you or whether they give different dispensations for nationals.
Okay, brilliant. And will your email be on the PowerPoint or something?
It will be, and I'll also just drop it into the chat whilst we're talking.
Brilliant, thanks, Sean.
Okay, thanks, Donna. Claudia, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your questions?
Yeah, thank you, Sean, for the presentation. About the one-stop shop program, just one question. You said we have to be within 2 miles of the shop. Does that mean our office needs to be based within 2 miles, or the actual project delivery needs to be within 2 miles? Because we are a county-wide service, so we've got one base in the county but operate across. So I was just wondering.
It's the organisation is within, but again, have a conversation with me away from here, and I'll get that clarified with the administrators of the programme.
Wonderful, thank you.
Drop me an email, Claudia. Yes.
We have a question here from Jenny saying, can we apply to more than one-stop shop? Also, if we apply to more than one Tesco's, does it have to be for the same project?
Okay, so the one-stop shop scenario is where you're located. So you'd need to be close to a one-stop shop. So it's a relationship with a shop, because it's more than just the initial funding. You create a relationship with the shop.
Okay, we're in 2 miles of 2 shops.
Oh, right. Well, I would think you'd have to, pick one, or have a conversation with me with the administrators. But we can, yeah.
Yeah, we're county-wide, but where we're situated, we've got 1 2 miles one way and 1 2 miles the other way. So, we're just lucky.
Jenny, there's always one. What can I say?
Yeah,
absolutely. It's always me.
And then you asked about whether you can apply to more than one Tesco's for the same project. Well, sort of, yes. So there would be a cut and paste element to this.
Yeah.
But you need to change the words to describe that you're delivering to Toaster, you're delivering to Brackley, you're delivering to Wellingborough. So yes, but it would need to be nuanced.
Okay, because we've got several projects on the go that are completely different. So I didn't know whether I could apply to a couple for, say, the community cafe project, and a couple for the sign language support group, and a couple for the youth group.
Yes, you can make up to.
Can I do that?
You can make up to 6 applications. Yes.
Oh, so it doesn't have to be the same project across the board. It just serving different areas. It can be. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, just to say, what happens is when people make applications, there are often more than 3 applications made. There's a whole tranche of applications to be considered. And when there is a lot of applications, I then take all of those applications to a panel meeting with the Tesco staff, and they agree which are the 3 that are going into vote. If you don't go into vote in a specific period, you get carried forward to the following round.
Right.
And also, just to say, and I forgot to mention, there are themes in Tesco's at the moment. The themes are food insecurity and children and young people.
Right.
Okay, so those are the current themes that are running. Slightly complicating this is the fact that each store has got a community champion. Now, those of you that have relationships with your local Tesco stores may well go in and go to the customer services counter and say, look, we've got a raffle on, can you help us with any prizes, type of thing. And the community champion may say, yeah, you know, here's a box of chocolates for your raffle, or, you know, or here's some food for you for feeding these people at this meal, this community meal. So there's that, and they have a community champion. Now, where community champions get a relationship with local groups, they can nominate local groups through the Tesco's computer system, the backroom operation of the community champions. If one of those groups is successful, they get priority in who's going in to vote. I suppose the message there is have a relationship with your community champions, say hello to them. The other thing in that is that a community champion nominated project can be anything. It doesn't have to fit into the themes. So if you work with older people and you do a Christmas meal, just as an example, that could go in as a project, but it's not in the children, young people and food insecurity project. It's an older people's program. I mean, it might fit food insecurity actually, but if you've got a project that falls out of those themes, a community champion nominated project can be successful as well. Talk to me away from here if that raises more questions than answers for you. Okay, are we about done on questions there? There will be opportunity for more questions, so I'm going to go into comic relief now. So is that okay with everybody? We'll move on.
I just say that Florraine Lonzo, she's asked about the details, but just to say that Sean's put them in further up. So if she scrolls up, she'll be able to see your email address. You've put it in the chat box. So yeah, that's in the other question. Sorry, Sean.
Okay, cool, thank you.
I can't see the email address in the chat box, so I don't know if it's been shared with everybody.
No, I can't see the email either.
If you scroll up, it's there.
I'll put it in again in a moment.
Thank you.
I'll put it in after I've finished doing this presentation. Oh, let me see if I can just do it now. Okay, is that good?
Yeah, I can see that. Hopefully everybody else can see it come through.
No, I lost that one. Could you just do it again, Sean, please?
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that now.
Good.
Yeah, okay, thank you. We're fine.
I'll also put my phone number in as well.
Very brave, Sean.
It's okay, I like to chat. Right. Okay, right, let's move on to talk about comic relief. Okay, so Comic Relief Community Fund is supporting community-led organisations with an income of less than $250,000 to deliver projects with 4 strategic themes. Okay. So Groundwork are very pleased to be managing this fund on behalf of Comic Relief in England. It provides grants of up to £10,000, which support project delivery and organisational capacity building, helping organisations flourish. What lovely flowery speech we have. So the funding is split up as follows. There's £1,000 capacity building support funding and £9,000 for project delivery. We will fund applications from grassroots community-led organisations that can demonstrate how people with lived experience of the issues being tackled are involved in the organisation and the project. Quite a different approach from the Tesco's one. So the Capacity Building Fund will support your organisation to become more robust and better able to deliver projects that bring about lasting change. The type of activities funded could include developing better organisational governance through training for staff or trustees, gaining a better understanding of the needs of your beneficiaries, support to develop policies and procedures and strengthen working practices, improvements in marketing and promotion, gaining a better understanding of how to measure the impact of your work. Now, the 4 key themes are a safer place to be, which is about supporting people to rebuild their lives because of homelessness or forced migration. Children thrive and survive and thrive, supporting children up to the age of 11 to grow, play and learn. Gender justice, championing those who identify as women and girls, including initiatives tackling domestic violence, abuse or exploitation. And fourthly, mental health matters, supporting good mental health in communities and tackling stigma and discrimination. So the Project Delivery Fund, examples could be employing seasonal workers to deliver summer activities for young people, tackling inequality issues. Could be creating a community garden to help refugees come together, tackling family isolation and mental health issues. Or employing support workers to help vulnerable families with young children transition to primary school. A creative arts project to help tackle gender-based violence through workshops and exhibition. Renting space to support people to recover from homelessness. Counselling and support services for young people. Decorating and refurbishing a training room to enable a gender-specific client group to be engaged. They're just some examples. So round 2 will open for applications in August of this year. And there's the link. Excuse me. Now, in addition to the application process, Comic Relief are very keen that Groundwork administer this programme with support from local grants panels. So all the applications will come to a grants panel. And we're also looking for people to join the grants panel. So local panel meetings will take place across the country, the next one's being in September and then in March next year. Each panel meeting is expected to last approximately half a day. Members would need to review and score panel papers in advance of the meetings. This will generally take place virtually and will be chaired by a Groundwork staff member. There's a typo there, I'll fix that later. So, successful applicants will be assigned to a local panel and with preference given to individuals who can attend all of the panels that are happening. So that would be, both the September and the March ones. You'll be provided with training and an opportunity to meet other panel members prior to the panel dates. If we do meet virtually, in reality, then in real time, then out-of-pocket expenses will also be reimbursed. So there's a link there to the application and information to be a local panel member. And those local panel members, we want to have lived experience of the themes. So there we go on to say it. I knew I was going to tell you this. So we're looking for panel members with specifically lived experience in one of the 4 comic relief themes. Children survive and thrive. So we're looking for panel members who've had experience through supporting children and their families to reach their development potential through good health, nutrition and opportunities for early learning, support to building care and supportive relationships and keeping children safe. The fighting gender justice theme. Experience through supporting women and girls to be safe, educated and healthy and in control of their own lives. Supporting women and girls to be an equal part of collective decision making in communities, and this includes people who identify with the female gender. So this lived experience is also about people that might be volunteering with your organisations who might be interested to bring their lived experience into being panel members. And they may need support in doing that from your organisations if that's what you do. A safe place to be. We're looking for panel members who have experience of working to support people to recover from homelessness and resolve their situations by helping people to make positive changes and work to support community-led approaches to supporting refugees or asylum seekers rebuilding their lives due to forced migration. And then the mental health matters theme, experience in improving mental health and support networks of people experiencing or at risk of poor mental health, especially those from marginalised groups, increasing accessibility to mental health service to people who need them. So I did rattle through, forgive me, I hope it was clear, but any questions?
There was a question, hang on a second, from, Jenny's asking, do they count income before costs or other things like salaries, etc.?
Jenny, is that in what you're applying for? Come on and tell us what you mean there.
I mean, they say that they'll support companies with an income of less than.
Yes.
Does that your income is less than that, or your income following paying staff salaries and all that kind of thing?
It's your global. It's your overall income.
Your overall income.
So it's basically focusing on smaller organisations.
That's fine, because we're only tiny, but our income some years can be a little bit. It can look high because we've got grants, but then we've taken out staff salaries and costs and all the rest of it, it's actually not.
Well, no, it is the global. I appreciate that, but you know, the focus of Comic Relief is on smaller organisations.
Yeah.
That have got a maximum turnover. It's about your turnover figure.
Okay, no problem.
So it's you, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
You can come and talk to us if you want to go into more detail there, but generally the interest is with smaller organisations.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody else have a question?
Okay, right. So those of you that know me already know that I work remotely, and remotely working from home is that I sit here in Italy. So when I put my phone number up there, it's best to use that as a WhatsApp call rather than a mobile call, because they can get a bit costly. But I'm available Monday to Friday as you might need me, and pleased to help and encourage people to apply.
There's no more questions. Thanks very much, Sean. That's been enlightening. It's always good when you think you know things, but you learn new ones. So thank you everybody else for joining us today. The session will be uploaded to the North Northampton Council website for you to hear again if you want to go back and look at anything else again. And if you could remember to complete the questionnaire, and for the prize draw you'd need to just add your email address to it. So thank you very much everybody.
Could I just ask, I haven't got Sean's phone number. I don't know where that was.
I'll just drop it again. It is in the chat, but I'll just put it in now. There you go.
Let me just see if that comes up. When yeah, got it. Okay,
You
thank
see
you.
that.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very
We'll
much.
see you again for some of the other sessions later.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye now.